You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode 149. Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets. What's up, coaches? In this episode, I'm going to share with you how I was able to align my head with my heart when it came to deciding to become a coach. Now, this is a continuation of last episode, so make sure you listen to that. And as a quick recap on the previous episode, I shared with you how when I was younger, I experienced a health scare when I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition. And it caused me to have several years of my life where I was worried about my health and my future and really how long I had to be alive on the planet. And even though it was very stressful, it served as a wake-up call for me to my own existence. It allowed me to start thinking about how I want to live more intentionally so I don't take my life for granted. So after that thyroid disorder resolved itself through years of medication and seeing doctors and all that, I decided to live my life with intention, not letting it waste away, not just allowing years to slip by, knowing that I wasn't living the life I wanted to live. So the wake-up call that I experienced from that helped me come to the clarity of wanting to become a coach. And I knew my heart was in it, but I also had lots of fears and doubts and concerns in my head around pursuing coaching. So what I did is I decided to look up professional coaches online. And I found one named Alicia. At the time I was living in Vancouver, Canada. And I found this coach, Alicia. I saw her website and I sent her a message. And I said, hey, I see that you are working as a coach and I'm thinking about exploring a career in coaching, but I have some questions on what it takes to be a successful coach. And I asked her if it'd be okay if I could meet with her to go over some of my questions. And she was very quick to respond and very kindly invited me to come down to her office nearby downtown Vancouver. So I took the bus over and I went to her office, and it was the first time that I was meeting an actual professional coach, and it was so cool. So I sat in her office and I just went through my list of questions. And a lot of my questions I realized were on the fears that I had around getting into coaching. And I had asked her, first of all, how is it that someone can be a successful coach if they don't have their life together? And I told her, I felt like there were still so many things that I still was navigating in my own life, and I had my own confidence issues and struggles. And I thought, how can I possibly coach other people if I'm going through some of my own personal challenges? And she said, well, no one has a perfect life. No one has their life fully together. And you don't have to have the perfect life in order to be an amazing coach. And I felt this huge weight that just lifted off my shoulders. And she said that when you coach someone, you're not really advising them or telling them how to live their life. You're not basing it off of your life experience. What you're doing is you're applying a coaching process. You're using a set of coaching tools to help them work through challenges. And that's what a trained coach does. She said clients are not hiring you for your life experience. They're hiring you to take them through the coaching process so they can get results. So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers in your life to be great at that. You just need to know how to implement the coaching process. And I realized, okay, well, I guess that all this pressure I had put on myself, it didn't have to be there. I just had to learn proper coaching tools in order to be a successful coach. And I remember she joked with me and she's like, yeah, and honestly, if you don't have everything together in your life, this can also be an asset for you because it makes you a more relatable human. And I thought, oh, well, I never really thought about it that way, that when you have your own insecurities or doubts or challenges in your life, it helps people relate to you more rather than trying to force yourself to seem perfect to other people. So I realized through that conversation with her that you're allowed to be a work in progress and people can still pay you to coach them. And I was so impressed that she was running a full-time coaching business in like such a beautiful city. So I continued to pick her brain and ask her about all the ins and outs of what it took to be a successful coach. And one of the other questions I asked her about was, people taking you seriously, and how do you handle that? And if people are going to judge you? And she said that, one of the ways that you can develop credibility as a coach is by getting formal training. And she said that she didn't just wake up one day and decide she was going to start a coaching business. She actually went through formal training programs that taught her how to coach and allowed her to practice her coaching and gave her feedback. So she said by doing that and having her certification, it allowed her to feel more credible, and also her potential clients to feel more at ease when they decide to hire her, as opposed to some random person with no credentials and no formal education in coaching. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I've got to look into getting some formal training in coaching, but I hadn't quite decided on that yet. And she said that, even when you do get your credentials and you do get formal training, she said people are going to judge you no matter what, right? They're going to judge you whether you are sharing your gifts with the world and you are showing up as a coach or you're not. So people will judge you if you're playing big or if you're playing small. It's really impossible to avoid judgment from all people. And this really landed for me because I realized that there were other times in my life where I decided I'm going to honor my truth and I'm going to express myself and expose myself to judgment because I want to be in integrity with myself rather than live a lie, right? If we are so afraid of judgment, what you do if you let that fear consume and block you is you'll live a lie in order to try to avoid judgment. But the irony is you never avoid it. People will still judge the lie that you're living. And it brought me back to when I was younger, and I was very much afraid of telling people that I was gay, and I didn't want to disclose my sexuality. And I was living a lie to friends and family in my community for a long time. And then one day I decided I'm not going to live this lie anymore. Like, I'm just going to be my authentic self. I'm going to share who I am with the world, and people can judge that. People have the freedom to judge. They have the freedom to agree or disagree, whatever. But I'm going to live a life and be true to myself. And I realized this was kind of a similar experience as I was looking to come out as a coach and become a coach. I thought, yep, there will be people that will judge and life will go on. At least I know that I'll be living in my integrity and doing something that aligns with who I am, what I value, and what I want to contribute with others. So I had several meetups with Alicia, and I'm so grateful for the time that she was able to devote with me. And I hope that I am also that person for many of you. If you've never spoken with an actual coach before, maybe you hearing my own stories, you can understand what it really takes to be a successful coach. So after having a lot of talk with her, I realized that all those fears that were in my head, all those concerns, they started to dissolve. They started to go away. I realized people are going to judge no matter what. And it's okay if you don't have your entire life together. You're allowed to be a work in progress. People can still pay you to coach them, even when you have your own things that you're going through in your life. So I started to now do my research in how to coach. So I bought several books and I started watching videos online. And I was beginning to feel confident. So I found someone that was willing to let me coach them. So she said that she wanted me to give her a call for a coaching session. So I gave her a call, and I really thought that I was going to crush this because I had read some books on coaching. So I started the coaching session out strong. I had a list of questions that I wanted to ask her in the session. And I thought coaching can kind of be that formulaic where you can just follow the same questions. But then about halfway through the session, I got stuck. And she brought something up. I didn't know how to respond to it. I didn't have any idea what direction to take. I didn't have the proper tool that I needed. And it was super embarrassing for me. And she noticed that I was fumbling. And within a few moments, she decided she wanted to end the call. She wasn't getting value from it. And this was a humbling moment for me. I realized that if I really want to be exceptional at this, then I'm going to need to get exceptional training. I'm going to need support. I had such a big mission to help people as a coach and change lives. And I realized that if you have a big mission, then it means you're going to need big support. So I ended up finding a coach training program, and I knew that there were a lot of cheap programs out there, like $20, $50, $100, where they just throw you a certification in a weekend. And I thought, if I'm really going to be an extraordinary coach, I want to get the coach training that I deserve. So I found a great program that was really solid with their resources for becoming a great coach. And I decided to make the investment. It was a 5-figure investment. And it was a very big and very scary decision for me at the time. I thought, am I really doing this? Is this really going to happen? Am I really going to make this work? Am I really going to make something from this? And I just reflected on my life up until that point and thought, of course, like, this is what I'm called to do. Like, what's the alternative to live with the regret of not pursuing my calling? And even though, like, logically it was, okay, this is a part of my brain thought, well, that's a big investment though. I thought, well, actually, I've invested over 20 times the amount of this program. I think it was like 10 or 12K. I'm like, I've invested 20 plus times this amount in my college education. And it made me think like how so many of us just will invest so much into our education. And I think investing in our brain is the best investment that we can make. So I thought, this is just a fraction of what I've actually already invested in myself and my college education. The difference is this is learning a skill that I can translate into a business and directly monetize. So I'm not just learning information and receiving knowledge as I would from a traditional college course. I am learning how to apply and execute a skill with others that will allow them to get results, that will give them so much value and allow me to monetize that skill. And I had to remind myself of this several times. It wasn't just throwing money into another degree. This was a certification that was teaching me a skill. And I thought, you know what, no matter what happens, this is going to be an adventure. I stopped being so attached to, I need to make this work and have a successful business. I thought, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to learn about myself. I'm going to grow as a person. And this is going to be an incredible adventure. And I'm so excited to see where this takes me. So I did what I could to make it work. I invested in the coach training program, and I was finally able to learn how to coach. Not in the way that I had been learning on my own through books and videos, but really learning powerful tools to use, proven research, evidence-based skills and tools. And I felt so amazing that I was learning these coaching tools. And one of the things I didn't realize I was going to get by going through coach training is experiencing my own transformation in myself. I was someone that was very shy and insecure and would never have done something like make a podcast when I was getting started as a coach. I never saw myself as someone that would confidently share my voice, my story, and my ideas with others. I had always been someone that preferred to stay in the background and just blend in. I never really saw myself as a transformational leader. But by going through coach training, I started to rewrite the rules that I had for myself and who I thought I was and the life I thought I could live. And this is really where I started to uncover my potential. So in a way, I realized that when you go through coach training, you become your first client, just like our students experience in the academy. They go through their own transformation And that also gives them greater confidence as a coach and as a leader. So I had a new way of seeing myself, and I knew how to coach, but then I realized I had one other eensy-weensy challenge left over. And it was I still didn't know how to start a business. I had learned all these great coaching tools, but the program that I had gone through, they didn't really teach me how to start a business at all. And I realized when I got certified that I had to figure this out. So in the next episode of the podcast, I am going to share with you how I figured it all out and went on to make my first million as a coach. And I'll also share with you how and why I started Thriving Coach Academy. Before I go, I'm going to share with you a short clip from an interview I had with one of our coaches so you can hear their story and what it took for them to be successful as a coach. As always, please remember to subscribe to this podcast. Leave us a 5-star review if you're enjoying it and a couple of sentences of what you're loving about the show. And I will see you in the next episode.
I'm Michaela.
And I'm Tyler.
And together we run My Thai Fitness, and we help adventurous couples get their dream bodies together.
So before the program, our business was making less than $2,000 a month. Right now, going into 2021, we see exponential growth coming down the pipeline. We're looking to bring in at least $5,000 to even $10,000 a month.
I think we've tripled our rates at this point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As well as we've booked our high ticket clients and continue to do so.
Yeah, we've now booked 2 high ticket clients. One for sure committed for 3 months, probably past that, and one yesterday just committed to 6 months. Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy to think because we were like, that's not possible. Really, the scripts were so helpful. Everything from how to sell without feeling like you're actually selling, because that's really a big fear of both of ours, because we don't want to come across as the car salesman that you're negotiating the price of a car down on. It's what is going to actually attract people and make them believe that they can transform. And that really just gave us so much confidence, both to have the script and know that it works. It's been so rewarding to watch our clients transform and get the messages from them and the transformation photos and what has opened up for their lives, and then sending that out into the world has just already brought so many more people to us. So we've already kind of joked that if everyone signs up from our consult calls, we're going to be full. We can't take anyone else. I could barely dream of $5,000, let alone $10,000. And now we're like, wow, that could even be more.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coach's secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.